when you're going to the university, like they separated you, like they were body search us. Like in one of the universities I was going, they were like, you have to pass the gates. There were people, like women, sitting in front of the gates. Uh, Sometimes they will send you back to home, like 2 hours away, um, because they didn't like the way you dressed. Or like in the schools, if you were like, there were so many unreasonable stuff that at the same time you're like, why do you harass children? Because they're men or like boys or girls. Each of us in our schools, like our schools are separate, right? So uh like when you're talking to girls, they had so many traumatic experiences in schools, in one way, and you're talking to boys, they have another sort of traumatic experiences in their school in another way, you know. Like they're most of the time exposed to violence or disrespect, and this way you're like, if you have like this, like painted your nails, you are kicked out to from school. Or if you're having a cell phone, it was a bad thing. Or like, you always had to deal with it and try to survive in such an environment.
Yeah, it's pretty much survival, huh? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Everyday to life. That's yeah. I mean, that's really it's hard to imagine, but that's really what it would from the outside looking in. It feels like that's what the Islamic regime is about. It feels like the people there aren't really. It's not really like you. And of course, you have good moments and good memories because everybody does in life. But really, day to day life, it feels like instead of being able to be allowed to live and thrive and enjoy your life, you're just trying not to die over
Yeah.
something stupid. Is that
Yes.
right?
Not specifically dying, but like there is always a question lingering, like, why should I have to live this way? Why should I have to be forced, like, to dress the way that other people choose for me, not myself? You know, why should I have to go out of my home and feel not safe with the authorities rather than like with people? You know, when you're passing by the police, like, I personally never had a safe experience with the police, to be honest. Like if something happened to me, I would rather not to call them because they would harass you much worse than whatever happening, like, in a in the street with other, with normal people, you know?
Yeah.
So sorry. Um, this is in regard of them. Like when we are saying we're separate from the government, specifically means that not. I'm not saying that everyone who is in the police or maybe in the army or maybe like anywhere, they're
Mhm.
all 100% the same.
Yeah.
Like you have to survive the world, you know, even in
Hmm.
that country. And for that reason, maybe your life brings you in those type of positions. But in general, it's like you always have the feeling of there is a external force for you, that you can't breathe easily. You want to thrive, but you're forced to endure.
Yeah. It always feels like there's some sort of pressure there, huh?
Hmm. Yeah.
And so when you were in school, I've heard that they really like super try to super indoctrinate like the minute that you're out of the womb, like super like just pound your brain with like they don't teach history about the Shah or what happened before the revolution in 79 or the history of the Persian Empire. It's more just the history of Muhammad and Islam. And is that true?
Well, I personally always loved the history, and um at this point I don't remember which part mostly I've learned, but what I specifically remember is that the main focus, yes, it's after the Islam in Iran. But you learn something like even before the Great Cyrus, what was going on in Iran. You have a brief kind of lessons about this, like where we are coming from, how the human came in Iran and made civilizations, and why the Great Cyrus became the Great Cyrus, and how the empire of Persians uh, was made, like became the empire actually. Uh, these are fairly brief. It's not the main focus. And then even like they tell you why like Muhammad or Arabs came to Iran. Like, and it's mind-boggling that people accepted it. It's like
Really?
Iranian opened the doors of the city, welcomed Arabs. They didn't we were the first nation because we were believing one God even before Arabs, right?
Uh-huh.
So we didn't thought with them. We thought that their religion was better than Zoroastrians. But as soon as they came to the cities, they started to uh basically wipe us out. They were like, you're not allowed to speak Farsi or Persian. You have no history. So that kind of brutalization and taking out our identity started from then, you know. But like in the school, the main focus, yes, it's about the Islam. And first it was like how it came to Iran, and how it became dominant in the entire empire of Persia. uh and the next focus, which is like the end of the middle school, the main focus of our history is the Islamic Revolution. And yes, they told us that Reza Shah the first, the King Reza the first, he was uneducated, brutal man. He was cruel. He didn't know any better. He was stupid. Why? In actuality, because he didn't let mullahs to have any power. He pushed them away, right? And then they told us that Muhammad Reza Shah was, I mean, the Shah, was unfit to rule the country. He was um, a kind of a puppet from America, and we were giving all the benefits to Americans. So they brainwashed us like that. And even to this day, like so many people you hear that, oh, we don't like Islamic regime, but you hear the same kind of narrative uh towards Prince Reza Pahlavi. The same narrative that they used to on his father.
Yeah.
And when you hear it, you're like, okay, this is the same brainwash that Islamic regime, our teachers,
Yeah.
used it, you know.
Yeah. So you know where it's coming from, that it's, and maybe they're not even really doing it on purpose, right? It's just that they've heard it so much that they're kind of spouting off what they think
Yeah,
because of what they've been told. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
I
really
mean,
interesting.
these mullahs are so great on changing the narrative. You see,
Mm.
like, basically gaslighting you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're saying, like, look, this is the truth. I'm seeing this. And they're like, no, like, this is the truth, sure, but look at the back of it. You know, you're
Yeah.
like, they make you confused, and you see the truth, but the way that they change your mind is like, am I seeing the truth? Or the truth is the lie? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 They almost try to get you to doubt your own grasp on reality, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense because I'm glad you brought that up, really, because in the United States of America and in Europe and the West, as you, I mean, you probably know, Canada's like that too, is becoming more and more. It feels like that. It feels like people gaslight you, like they make you know what you're seeing is one thing, and they're going out of their way, but they act so confident about the fact that you almost start thinking to yourself, is there something I'm not seeing here? But no matter how much you look at it, you're like, no, this, they're intentionally trying to, I don't know, brainwash you, I guess would be the word. And I
Yeah.
see that. And, you know, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because what I hear about, like what you just said about how the Arabs were allowed into the country, they didn't come by force, they were welcomed in. And that's how
Yeah.
I seem to hear it all the time with Bridget Gabriel and various other countries that were taken over by radical Islamic regimes. They always seem to say it like that. It was always we let them in because we thought they were friendly and we wanted to be friendly and we wanted to make everybody equal and we wanted to be the good guys and everybody's allowed here. And then they out of nowhere flipped the script and then decided that they were going to start replacing everything that we had and turn it into something else. I didn't know that that happened in Iran as well. I wasn't sure exactly how that revolution in 1979 happened. So I'm glad that you said that. And I feel like that's what they're trying to do in the United States and Canada and Europe as well right now.
Honestly, this is the thing that we Iranians, specifically in diaspora, and Prince Reza Pahlavi keeps saying. It's like what we are fighting is against the death army that we are on the front row. If we collapse, the world will collapse after us. It's
Mm-hmm.
not gonna happen right in the span of the night, but it will happen. Like, okay, this is what I'm seeing in the West really reminds me of one day in my high school. Our religious teacher is mostly appointed by the government, so the brainwash would be more focused on Islam and stuff like that. I specifically remember once she said, "Oh, we should have to wish that the whole world turns into a Muslim world and everyone starts speaking Arabic." We all laughed at her, right? And
Yeah.
then 10 years ago, the guy Soleimani, I think, he said that we will turn um, White House into a Islamic center. And we were
Mm-hmm.
like, what are you saying? And now when you're looking at the world, it's not that far away.
No.
Like